In this book, I have this upstairs in the bedroom where I've been laying here a lot since I have this cold. And I have Ink and Bone downstairs I'm reading. The worst part with having two books going on is I get very involved with the characters. I'm very involved with their lives and I'm living it with them. So I have Jen and her sister and her aunt and her dad like in my head, and their lives and what they're thinking and what's going on and what their battles are and their good things and their bad things and their troubles and everything. And then when I'm downstairs, so I don't want to have to run the books up and down, back and forth, then I have to switch gears to, like in Ink and Stone, the main character so far is Jess, and then this one here is Jen. So I have to stop and I have to start reading, and then I find it hard to leave Jen and everybody in this book behind and switch over in my mind. But then again, like I say, it saves me from running up and downstairs, which I really don't care about, honestly. But it is easier to have one up here and one downstairs. Pegs. That's her sister. They call her Pegs. Anyways, it don't matter. We're doing a fair bit of reading. This one's pretty good, though. I am liking it. And the big mystery so far we have going on here. Hang on. I'll light on the subject. Pegs isn't the worry. I do believe she could be happy here if it came to that. I can't tell you why, not yet, but I do. Jen, heart's blood, woman. How many times must I say it? Jen can't leave. I don't know how you say it. Marrowdell? Marrowdell. Kindly listen before you bellow. This past year, Jen's grown into the very image of Melusine. Or Melusine. Ancestor's witness. If she were seen by anyone who knew her mother, Aunt Sib stopped, then went on. Even as a child, Pegs favored the Naylin side. Jen could pass as theirs. She's not, Rad snapped. Anyways, the word left such an appalled silence. The girls didn't dare move. After what seemed far too long, Aunt Sib continued. The Samaras, I don't know how I say some of these names. Samanaryas don't forgive. They don't forget. Nothing would please them more than to take Jen from us. In Avio, they have the means, legal or otherwise. I tell you, would never see her again. Never. Pegs let out a gasp. Peg and Jen are listening through a hole in the wall. You can't let that happen, Rad. You can't. All at once, muffled sobs. So the big thing here is Melusine, ancestors blessed and blissful, would tell you to stay here where you're safe, where you're good, trusted friends. Pegs will be fine. Jen will come around. You'll see. All she wants is to see the world. I'm sorry. I still have a cold. I can't read out loud. So, Jess, the daughter, wants to leave the little tiny town of Marrowdell really bad. But there's all these other things going on that she doesn't even know what's about yet. I don't even really know what's about yet. And then you have this creature. Oh, there's a creature who lives there that knows Jen. Jen doesn't really know what she is. She's never seen him wholly. She calls him Wisp. I don't really know what he is yet. He's some sort of creature. Magical creature that lives there. And he knows she's got to stay there too. Or they don't really say why yet. Anyways, that's about where we're at now. The aunt, she lives in a bigger city. Aunt Sib, and Jen wants to go back to the bigger city with her really bad and see more of the world. She wants to travel the world bad. And this creature is telling her she can't, but they don't say why. The father says, no, you can't leave Marrowdell. It doesn't say why. So we have yet to find out why she can't leave Marrowdell. Right now, I'm still reading a little bit about Mist. The Turnborn meant to Merrildale as he'd feared. Too soon did they hope to entrench themselves in the valley ahead of the great turn. Sorry, I haven't even got this far yet. So, we'll see. I'm only on page 84. So, I don't think I gave away too many, what do you call them, spoilers yet. Only being on page 84 gives you a little tiny bit about what the story's about. This is the second book I'm into, and I'm on page 64 in it. This is what I call my downstairs book right now. We have a boy, Jess, who is smuggling books because books are illegal to own. You have to own a blank. I think they're called a blank, and the blank gets words on it. It's people can't have books, but there's one big library, the Alexandrian Library in Egypt, and they decide what you're going to read. So you have what's called a blank, whether it's like a playbook or whether it's like, I think it's a book with actual pages. I think it's an actual page and like paper, and then the library decides what's going to show up on your page. And I don't even think it's supposed to be like magic. I think it's supposed to be like far into future technology, just like sending an email, that whatever shows up on this page is all you're allowed to read. So if you want a story to read, it's kind of like the library only let you read what they decide you can read. Same with newspaper or anything else. You just have what's called a blank, and then things come up on it for you to read. So, and Jess's dad is like, okay, you're old enough. I forget how old he is, honestly, 18 or something. You have to get out on your own. You have to go, da-da-da. Now, his father smuggles books, which is illegal. You can be killed for smuggling books because books are not allowed to have. But rich people try to get a hold of books, so they're smugglers. But Jess isn't very good at it. He's too kind-hearted. He loves the books too much. His brother, I'm so sorry, I have this cold. His brother, who's Brandon, I believe his name is. I can't find it right now. Anyways, his brother's more suited because he's harder and tougher personality than Jess. So his dad says, we want you on the inside. You're going to go to the Alexandrian Library. And so there's his brother. Yeah, Brendan. And so Jess gets accepted and he goes, and it's real tough. Like, the library is really tough to be in. And they have some really hard tests that go on. And, you know, the guy, Wolf, Scholar Wolf, isn't the nicest guy. And unfortunately, Jess got a real, not jerk, let's say jerk, real jerk for a roommate who doesn't want a roommate. He even tried to cook Jess out, but Jess is like, yeah, there you go. No, the other boy said, I have a private room, get out. That was not it. Nothing but the cold words. Anyways, Jess just says, I'm too tired, I'm going to bed, you know, and ignores him. Then when Jess gets up in the morning, he can't even get in the shower to clean up because the roommate is just, you know, he's not nice and he stays in the bathroom. So, not only does he have the very short Scholar Wolf to deal with as teacher, but he's also got a roommate, Dario, who is not nice. Anyways, I'm not giving really too much away there because when you start to read the book, you learn. I'm so sorry. You learn that they're book smugglers right off. And right in the beginning, you'll learn that Jess goes to write the test for the library. You know he's going to get in. He has to. It won't be a story. And then it goes on to the story. There's a little bit more going on here. There's, see the fancy writing? I haven't really figured this out yet. This is from the keepers of the library, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. The library holds itself to be the keeper of both knowledge and wisdom, but it is not true. So much should never be held in the hands of so few, for it is It is a natural, vernal habit of men to hold to power, and knowledge is the purest form of power. I can't read more because of my throat. But there's what you call burners who burn books. There's what you call ink lickers who get a hold of books and they eat the pages. They're some kind of sick people. There's there's the people that he meets there. There's a few other characters, of course, going on here that he met on the train. To get, sorry, I was looking for their names. To get there, Thomas is one. Oh, this one here, I don't know how to say her name. Halila. I'm not going to be able to talk. Every time I breathe in, I just want to choke. I have such a bad tickle in my throat. Anna. Like, there's other students that they're talking about here. Ness remains, keep her from harm. Like this, he could barely stand. How could he protect anything like this? Your penance remains. Only you may know the truth. Truth, the secret the sea had sealed in him, was worse than the ruin of his body. Like any Turnborn, the girl was of both worlds. Her life, like the roots of the Naiad, should have bound the worlds together. But unlike other Turnborn, her birth had taken place in the midst of crossing from one to the other, and part of her remained there still between worlds, caught like the trapped ones themselves. Should Jen step beyond the edge, should she leave Maraldel, and so the verge as well, her small hollow form would tug its frail thread to the breaking point, and so begin the unraveling. All would be undone, all. Their worlds would be torn asunder. Nothing in the verge, nothing along the edge of her world would survive. The trapped would be freed at last, or finally die. The sea were unclear on that point. The risk posed by the girl's very existence, they told him, and no one else. The Turnborn were left to believe her curse the same as theirs, to exist solely where the worlds overlapped, wishing her ignorant but not wishing her harm. They set him to keep her within Maraldel. They cared only that Jen not cross into the verge to challenge them. Most things in this book are not what they appear to be. He saw two truths. Bannon, her smile was the most joyful thing he had ever seen, and the man in her arms was no more a man than Scrooge was a horse. There's a lot about this here town that has a whole lot of mystery surrounding the family, and I don't know, a whole bunch of other stuff, but it's really good. He kind of has a love-hate thing going on with this kind of like, I don't know if it's a magical horse or just what it is. Like it's some sort of animal that kind of changes, I guess, but it is a horse, but not a horse. And it's got attitude and its own will, and it met up with Bannon. So, a whole bunch of storylines going on here. Very good storylines. And a magical mystery. And I have a long ways to go yet. I hope it doesn't start to drag. I hope it keeps moving like it is. Because it's good. But I like big books too. But sometimes, you know, they get real long. Sometimes it's because they drag out too long. So, we'll see. What page am I on now? 133. I know, I can never make the bed. This is why I can never make the bed. I mean, it's one or the other is usually here. Oh, Corey! He's coming in here too. I guess